What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we're now seeing the beginning of the end for the ex-CIA director John Brennan, as he now faces some serious legal trouble after Jim Jordan just served up some very damning evidence to the Department of Justice, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so I'm straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Well, Laura, we're finally seeing parts of the timeline filled in, and it's creating a very damning picture. Remember, in July 2016, John Brennan went to Obama and briefed him that Hillary Clinton was going to invent this Russian collusion theory to distract from her email scandal. And so that was back in July. And then we now know, because of recently declassified material, that months later, it was Brennan who intervened, overruled people at CIA, and put the Steele dossier, this infamous debunked report, into the assessment being used by the Obama White House at the very end of Obama's term. That helped seed this whole Russian collusion investigation that the FBI then used to effectively derail the first term of President Trump. Now, what's fascinating about this, Laura, is that they're saying that this is coming from foreign sources that heard that the FBI was going to be part of this. This is before the rollout, essentially, of this plan. This is the real Russian conspiracy. There wasn't a Russian collusion conspiracy. This is that conspiracy of people that seeded this investigation and intentionally kept it going, even lying to the courts. One person pled guilty to the crime of lying to the FISA court. And so these details are very important as they fill these things out. And Laura, just to finish this up, it's fascinating the response of the media with the Russian collusion narrative that was funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign secretly. They denied that they funded the Steele dossier, but they took that, didn't question it. And it turns out that all these other people had heard about Hillary Clinton's plan, but these reporters that got Pulitzers for this didn't seem to bother to pursue those types of leads.
Jonathan, we could be seeing perjury charges. We could be seeing all sorts of conspiracy charges. We'll see where this goes, but this is not old news when it's declassified documents.
All right, folks, so it looks like we're finally seeing the walls closing in for that former CIA director John Brennan and all the bad actors that came after President Donald Trump, trying to take him down in his first term with the whole Trump-Russia collusion hoax. And I'm not feeling bad one bit. Actually, it brings joy to my heart. I'm happy to see that we're finally getting some justice in this case, because we cannot forget the way that John Brennan routinely went on national television to say that President Trump is, quote, quite obvious and apparent that he was guilty of Russia collusion, and he knew that this was all false. I want you guys to see it.
It would seem that collusion is obvious. A criminal conspiracy is unknown.
It was collusion in plain sight. Donald Trump at the end of July openly called on Russian intelligence to find Hillary Clinton's emails. There were engagements at the Trump Tower. There were the back and forth between various individuals who were affiliated with the Trump campaign and Russian individuals. That collusion, I think, is quite obvious and apparent.
And that right there is just one instance of many that John Brennan went on national television, further perpetuating this lie that he knew was false. And right here is the biggest lie of them all, the exact moment where John Brennan lied under oath, denying that the Steele dossier was used in the intelligence community assessment.
Did the CIA rely on it?
No.
Why not?
Because we didn't. It wasn't part of the corpus of intelligence information that we had. It was not in any way used as a basis for the intelligence community assessment that was done. It was not.
So we can see that John Brennan isn't even a halfway decent liar. I mean, he could barely get it out, and then the lip quiver tells us everything we need to know. But get this, in the last few months, John Brennan has been going on national television begging for the Trump administration to move forward and just forget all this ever happened. Look at this.
And it's very, very unfortunate that, again, Donald Trump and his people who are supporting him refuse, again, to acknowledge that and move on. We have so many challenges around this world. I was, quite frankly, appalled by what I heard at the United Nations from Donald Trump. We have so many challenges that we really need to bring this country together to focus on, as opposed to continuing to go back 8-10 years and trying to relitigate things that have been, I think, appropriately addressed.
Okay, so now John Brennan is worried about all the bigger issues that we got in our country, and he's worried about uniting and bringing our country together when this guy perpetuated and pushed a lie on President Donald Trump that could potentially have had him jailed for the rest of his life for treason. We're not forgetting this. We're not going to let it go. And America First Patriot Jim Jordan is letting it go either, as he just sent a formal referral to the DOJ for criminal prosecution just the other day. And here it is right here. The document sent straight from Jim Jordan's office to the desk of Attorney General Pam Bondi. He hits this one off saying, "Dear Attorney General Bondi, we write to refer significant evidence that former director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Brennan, knowingly made false statements during his transcribed interview before the Committee on the Judiciary on May 11th, 2023. While testifying, Brennan made numerous willfully and intentionally false statements of material fact, contradicted by the record established by the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the CIA. Under 18 U.S. Code 1001, a witness commits a crime if he knowingly and willfully makes a materially false statement or representation with respect to any investigation or review conduct pursuant to the authority of any committee of the Congress. Congress cannot perform its oversight function if the witness who appears before its committee do not provide truthful testimony. Making false statements before Congress is a crime that undermines the integrity of the committee's constitutional duty to conduct oversight. The points below support an investigation into whether Brennan made false statements at his transcribed interview." And it says Brennan falsely denied that the CIA relied on the discredited Steele dossier in drafting the post-election intelligence community assessment. Oh my goodness. So we're seeing the walls are definitely coming down or closing in on this guy, John Brennan. That hammer has been dropped. Oh my, I'm so excited to see this one. And to make matters even worse, now we've got John Brennan going on MSNBC saying that he is sad of the current state of the country because you're in trouble now. Okay, I want you guys to take a look at this.
Well, when these things happen, I certainly get mad, I get angry. I also get sad that this is the state of our country and the state of our politics these days. The fact that, individuals like a Jim Jordan are going to go after somebody. I served nearly 3.5 decades in public service, a lot involved in counterterrorism in the aftermath of 9/11. They don't care about doing things like this to destroy individuals, to go after me, to hurt me and my family and others. And so, I'm saddened by what has happened. Sometimes I'm dispirited and disheartened. At the same time, I feel motivated to be able to stand up. And I'm glad that other people are standing up as well. And I see that more and more people are starting to realize what Donald Trump is all about. And so I'm hoping that the Republicans in Congress, I know it's a wish that I've had for quite a while, they're really going to draw the line. And when they look at what's happened against the White House, it's such a vivid depiction and symbolic of what's going on to this country. But the abuse of power, the desecration of the rule of law, the fact that Donald Trump continues to do these things, why they continue to allow it, I think it's going to hurt the Republicans over in the long term. And just doing this right now to be able to satisfy the whims of Donald Trump, I never thought we would face a situation like this throughout the course of my career.
So it seems as if John Brennan's aboard that same exact boat of the Hillary Clintons, the James Comers, the Adam Shifty Shifts, the same folks that thought that they would never see this day. President Donald Trump regaining power and these folks finally seeing justice in their cases. I'm so glad. This is exactly what I voted for, so they could stay mad, sad, and angry, but frankly, we do not care. The American people spoke, and this is what we want. And we can't even say that we weren't warned about these individuals, the James Comers and the John Brennans. Tulsi Gabbard came out with a very stern warning about those folks back in the day.
The John Brennans, Adam Schiffs, and the oligarchs in big tech who are trying to undermine our constitutionally protected rights and turn our country into a police state with KGB-style surveillance are also domestic enemies, and much more powerful and therefore dangerous than the mob that stormed the Capitol.
So glad that we got Tulsi serving as our Director of National Intelligence. She knew these guys were corrupt and dirty from the jump, and now it's all being aired out. But get this, instead of declaring his innocence, we got John Brennan attempting to do a little projection 101, projecting all of his wrongdoings onto President Donald Trump. You cannot make this stuff up, guys. Look at this.
But in addition to punishing people, he's really trying to intimidate individuals into silence. He's trying to make sure that any critics that are out there realize that they could, in fact, be vulnerable to some type of prosecution under these contrived charges, whatever. And Liz and I were talking before. You know, this is just part of a real mean-spiritedness on the part of this administration, trying to punish and destroy the reputations of individuals. But also, look what he's doing to undocumented workers, tearing families apart, firing federal employees, slashing Medicaid benefits. And there's such a nastiness to this administration that really is, in my mind, very un-American. And so I know my photo is up there and my name is one of the ones that is out, but I really do believe it's an obligation on my part, as well as other Americans, to speak out and speak up when they see wrongdoing, when they see abuses of power. And, you know, this is not a normal time. This is a very abnormal time, but we cannot normalize it by just turning a blind eye to it.
And it seems they all do the same exact thing. They got the same playbook. We've seen Letitia James, Jack Smith, and now we got John Brennan saying that this is a weaponization of the DOJ, a political persecution. Well, we all know, everyone that voted for President Donald Trump knows exactly what this is. This is a man that overcame so much adversity, and now we need to see a little bit of justice served. But you already know this has the internet in an absolute frenzy, and I want to check in with the perspectives and the reactions of folks on X. So we're going to start off here with our friend Rob Grant tweeting out saying John Brennan is a pathological liar. To him, up is down, down is up, black is white, and white is black. It does not matter. All that matters is what he says, and we're not buying it. So that's not going to be the way that he wiggles his way out of this one. I'll tell you that right now. We also got our friend Jim J tweeting out saying, yes, John Brennan, the guy who tried to overthrow a duly elected president with his lies tradecraft. Got it. Then tried to market those lies to the media for years while pretending to have inside knowledge due to his ties to intelligence, when in fact he was manipulating everyone. Gotcha. So we know exactly what you did. We got the crime, and then you lied about it to Congress. I mean, under oath. You committed a crime right there, and you should be held accountable. I have no sympathy for this guy. And we got Chicago One Ray also tweeting out saying Obama was in on it all. John Brennan didn't make a move until he ran it past him first. All roads lead directly to Barack Obama. Okay. All right. Well, we know who's up next. And last but certainly not least, we got our friend Paul Schneider here tweeting out saying, unfortunately for John Brennan, he lied repeatedly. 2 different members of Congress when he was under oath. I think he'll serve time and he will pay fines. He lied and he lied and he lied. That's the end of the story, and we don't want to hear any more excuses for why you lied. We know exactly what you were up to, and now it's time for you to be held accountable. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Looks like the jig is finally up for the bad actors and corrupt figures that came after President Donald Trump in the past. Looks like they're finally all going to have their days in court, despite the fact that they thought these days would never come. They didn't believe President Donald Trump had the power to overcome adversity at every single corner. The way that came after President Trump needs to be documented. This is going to go down in history, and this right here brings joy to my heart, a smile to my face. Happy to see that my vote is going exactly where I wanted it to go. President Donald Trump has followed through on all of his campaign promises that we would see justice served, and that's exactly what this is, guys. But I'll continue to follow any updates to come on this one right here with your boy RetroStef, guys. But definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open, and I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you did enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.